Hi, this is Arango of LittleGuyCGI.com, and today I want to show you how to rig and animate a robot transformation. So let's get started. Okay, if you haven't seen the previous tutorial, I would recommend that you go and check that out. However, if this is your first time in Blender, I recommend you go to File, User Preferences, go to Input, choose Select with left click. Blender's default select is with right click, and this may confuse you if you're coming from Adobe or other 3D programs. Also, if you press click-ons here, and you should press click-ons, I recommend you put a check mark next to 3D view, 3D navigation, scroll down, then also put a check mark next to mesh F2, mesh inset polygon, mesh loop tools, and also mesh relax. And if you scroll all the way down, I recommend you put a check mark next to user interface pie menus official. And what this will do is just allow your version of Blender to work like my version of Blender, which is Blender 2.75a. Okay, here we are in Blender, and when you come into Blender, you see object mode. Normally there's a menu right here. We'll press T to get that. The way we're going to be getting around here is by using the navigation tab mainly, where if you push these different keys, it'll take you, or buttons I guess they are. If you press these different buttons, it'll take you around to the different views. In Blender, you come in object mode. The main thing you need to know as far as getting around the view part is if you hold the middle mouse button, you'll rotate, and then these will take care of your other views. We have our object selected, so what we're going to do now is click here and go into edit mode. Okay, we had in the previous tutorial, we had joined this. Originally we started off with a mirror modifier. We're actually going to put a mirror modifier on this again. The way we're going to do that is we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to press front to go into front view, and if you look here you can see we're in front orthographic view. We're going to press Shift C, and we can see our 3D cursor is right there. So we're actually going to click here, come back to object mode. With our object selected, we're going to press Shift S, which brings up our Snap to menu. And then we're going to choose selection to cursor offset. So now our robot model is directly in the center of our scene. Okay, now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm just going to select this plane here. Whoops. Just push this to the side like that. I'll select front right here again. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Okay, now what we're going to do is select our robot. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan over. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom back some. I'm going to click here, select edit mode. I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe. I'm then going to hover my mouse here. I'm going to press B for box select. I'm going to left click and draw a box and try to get right in the center. We'll zoom in. Wow, got that the first time. That's pretty good. So you want this whole left side selected here. And then once you have that selected, what you're going to do is you're going to press X to bring up your delete menu. Then you're going to choose faces to delete that whole side. See how we have this orange dot right here? This is our origin point, and you want it to be directly in the center. We're now going to click here, which is our modifier button. Then we're going to click here, and we're going to select mirror to put a mirror modifier on it. Here's the mirror modifier at the bottom of the modifier stack. We're going to put a check mark here for clipping. And then we're going to select these arrows, or that arrow to make it go up, to take this to the top of the stack. Whoops, wait a second. Okay, so we have that. Okay, and then one more time. So now it's at the top, and that's how we want it to be, is you want your mirror modifier to be at the top of this stack. The reason why you want it to be at the top of the stack is because in Blender, it kind of, the influence goes down. So first this influences everything, then it, this is like the top priority, and that's how you want it to be. So this is first priority, and this is second, then that's third. Okay, so we're going to press Z, and then we're going to choose solid. And what we're going to do is we're going to use some, fairly quick ways to add detail to this. So I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I am going to select here. I'm going to press C for paint select and select all of this right here. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. So we have this right here selected, this side selected, and then actually I want this selected. I'm holding shift right now, holding the middle mouse button to turn. So we have this front, this side, and then we've got like this one strip of faces there in the back, holding the middle mouse button to turn back. Okay, and what we're going to do here is we are going to go to our pivot point option, and we're going to change this from Blender's default pivot point, which is medium point, to individual origins. And now what we're going to do is we're going to press Alt E. This brings up our extrude menu. We're going to choose individual faces. We're going to left click one time, then we're going to right click to get out of that extrude mode. The reason why it looks like this is because we have our mirror modifier, not our mirror modifier, we have our subdivision surface. So temporarily we're going to turn this off. We're also going to select here on our mirror modifier. So this side looks just like that side. You're going to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to roll the mouse button to zoom in a little bit more. What you're going to do is press S to scale. And the reason why it's separating like that, which is what we want, is because we have it set for individual origins and we did the extrude individual faces. If we didn't do the extrude individual faces, this whole part right here would just kind of like scale all together. Anyway, with that extruded like that, we're going to press Alt S and then pull down slightly and then left click to lock in. Okay, now what you want to do is press C for paint select. And you want to select all of these faces right here. I'm going to press right click to get out of paint select, hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. Press C to turn paint select back on, repaint, right click to get out of paint select, hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn a little bit more. I'm going to press C to paint select right here. And the reason why we are paint selecting, I'm going to right click to get out of paint select, hold the middle mouse button to turn back, is when I turn on this mirror modifier back on, we'll see that it does this. So to get out of that, and I can see we actually missed this, I'm going to press C for paint select right there. I'm going to press it here and here as well. I'm going to right click to get out of here. We can press Shift E and drag, and then we can see we're able to put a mean crease on here. And if you remember from the last tutorial, that Shift E is just a shortcut to make this go up to 1 or somewhere in between, and this just allows us to have a fairly easy way of making things have hard edges. Okay, I'm going to press N to take away this menu. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan down. We're going to select here. Just rolling the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to select here. We're going to do the same thing. We still have individual origins on. We're going to press Alt E. Select individual faces. We left click once. We're going to right click to get out of that. We're going to turn off our subdivision surface. We're going to press S to scale like this. Left click to lock in. We're going to hold Alt, press S. In my case, I'm going to drag down a little bit. I'm going to left click to lock in. And you can see Alt S just makes this pop out some. Then we're going to press C. Paint these edges here. If you hold the middle mouse button, that's what I'm doing to deselect the areas I didn't want. This time I'm going to press N, and I'm going to take the mean crease all the way up to 1. I'm going to press N again to take that away. Now when I turn the mirror modifier back on, you can see we have hard edges there. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select here, hold shift, and select here. And I like this method because it's fairly quick. If you want to get in fairly quick details, it works pretty well. So we're going to do the same thing again. We still have our pivot point on individual origins. We're going to choose Alt-E, which brings up our extrude menu. We're going to select individual faces. We're going to right click. The reason why I right click instead of left click there is because sometimes my mouse moves a little bit, and I just want it to be just how it is. So I right click, and it still makes it quote unquote lock in, but it makes it jump right back to the position it was before we did this. Anyway, we're going to go to our subdivision surface, press this I to temporarily turn it off. We're going to press S to scale down some. We're going to left click to lock in. I'm going to hold Alt and then press S, drag down some. Left click to lock in, hold them in the mouse button to take a look. Might take this and push this in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to turn the subdivision surface back on. I'm going to press C for paint select. I'm going to roll my mouse wheel to make the paint select smaller. Just selecting all of these edges. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to press the N key to bring up our properties menu. Then I'm going to select mean crease and take this up to 1. And you can see the effect. We have sharp edges here now. I'm going to press N to take that away. Take that properties panel away. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. We're going to go to edge select here. We're going to hold Alt select here. We're about to rip this edge here. Depending on where your mouse is at is what side you'll be grabbing after you rip the geometry. So once this is ripped, this will be one part and this will be one part. So that edge, if we hold our mouse up here, we'll be holding this part with the edge connected to this part. If we hold our mouse down here and press V, we'll be holding this part with this edge. So I'm going to hold the mouse up here. I'm going to press V, and then I'm going to right click. I'm then going to push up slightly. And the reason why we're doing this is to get a hard line for the legs. I'm actually going to temporarily turn off the subdivision surface by selecting this eye. Okay, from this, we'll have a hard edge in the legs. Now, one issue we would have if we left it like this was if you looked at the leg, you would just see straight through the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to press N to bring up the properties panel. We're going to select mean crease, take this all the way up to 1. We're going to press N to take the properties panel away. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Now we're going to press S to scale. Scale it in some. We're going to left click to lock in. And then we're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. We're just going to push straight down. And we did that just so that when you look, you can see the hard line, but you also can't see through, the other side. Or see through to the other side is what I mean. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to hold shift in the middle mouse button. The pan, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to hold Alt, which when I hold Alt, it selects the entire edge loop right there. I'm going to hover my mouse over here. I'm going to press V to rip, left click to lock in. I'm going to take the manipulator and pull up slightly. I'm then going to press N to bring up our properties menu. Select this mean crease, take that all the way up. Press N to take the properties menu away. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I'm going to press S to scale. I'm going to left click to lock in. Then I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in again, and push this straight down. And again, it's just so that we have this hard line. We did that, extruding in so that when you look here, you won't be able to look through the arm. Through to the other side of the arm. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I'm going to click here, go to object mode so I can select this plane. Then I'm going to press H just to hide that. I'm going to select this robot again, click here, come right back to edit mode. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom in some more. I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to press C for paint select and select right here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. Hold shift and select this face right here. Hold the middle mouse button to turn back. We're going to press and hold Alt, and then press E to bring up our extrude menu. We're going to choose individual faces. I'm going to left click to lock in. I'm going to press S to scale down like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, or left click the mouse button, but not hold the middle mouse button. Your mouth, sometimes I say so many keyboard shortcuts. I don't know, let me not get into it. Anyway, I'm going to press Alt S, drag down, left click to lock in. I am going to press C for paint select. Right click to get out of paint select, hold the middle mouse button to turn. Press C, paint select. Right click to get out of paint select. I see I selected right here. I'm going to press C, then hold the middle mouse button to deselect there. I'm going to press C for paint select again and select right here and here. Right click to get out of paint select. Then I'm going to press N to bring up our properties menu and take this mean crease all the way up. I'm going to press N to take the properties menu away. Select the subdivision surface I visibility, right here, and we can see we have that now. We have this with sharp edges. Okay, we're going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the back. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn again. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure we're on face select, which we are. We're going to select here, hold shift, select here, here, and here. Also here. Then we're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I'm going to temporarily turn off the subdivision surface. We're going to press S to scale. A little bit more. Left click to lock in. Okay, now we're going to press C for paint select. We need to get these edges around here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and get right here. If you're having a hard time, you can zoom in as close as you need to. I'm holding shift, select there. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to press N and take the mean crease all the way up to 1. I'm going to press N to take that away. I'm going to now select, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press C for paint select. I'm going to select this right here. Right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, press S to scale. Hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to pull out just slightly. I'm going to hold shift and the mouse button to pan. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and select all right here. Hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. Roll in. Getting all these edges around here. Now let's press N to bring up our properties menu. Take this all the way up. Let's press N to take that away. We'll zoom back. Let's turn on the mirror modifier and looks so far it looks good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is hold the middle mouse button and turn back to the front. We'll zoom back some. We'll hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to click here, go to object mode. We're just looking to see how this looks. I'm going to press shift Z to go into rendered mode. And now we have our hard lines there. So, not a whole lot of extra detail, but you know, just a little some here, a little, you know, there, the hard lines here. Hold the middle mouse button, let's take a look at the back. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. And I think I'm going to grab this and adjust this here some more. So I'm going to press Shift Z to come out of Render Select. I'm going to click here to go back into edit mode. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse in. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to roll the mouse in a little bit more. Hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan a little bit more. Okay, what I'm going to do now is press C for Paint Select and select all of this right here. I'm going to right click to get out of Paint Select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to get more of a 3D view. And I'm just going to pull this out some. Like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back. I'm going to press Shift Z. And yeah, I like that. How that looks better. Okay, I'm going to press Shift Z again. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. We're going to zoom in, hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Zoom in some more right to here. And we're going to temporarily turn off our visibility for our subdivision surface. We're going to do the same, technique here for quickly adding detail. I want this to be, this whole thing to be separated. I don't want this being separate and this being separate. So one thing you can do is we'll lose a little bit of this bend here, but we're going to go to our edge select. We're going to hold Alt. We're going to press X to bring up our delete menu. Then we're going to choose dissolve edges. Now normally we delete things, and that means we totally get rid of them. Dissolve edges pretty much will allow us to take that edge away but not affect the geometry around it, even though we're taking the edge away. So we're going to select dissolved edges. So now we can see that edge is gone. Okay, and what else we're going to do is we're going to temporarily turn off clipping for our mirror modifier here. We're going to go to face select. We're going to hold Alt and select an edge, and because we held Alt, we selected that whole loop of faces there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is press Alt E to bring up our extrude menu. We're going to choose individual faces. I'm going to right click to lock in and get it to jump right back to where it was. We're going to press S to scale it down some like this. Left click to lock in. Then we're going to press and hold Alt, then press S, then let go of Alt S and pull down some like that. Then left click to lock in. Okay, now we're going to press C for paint select and select all this right here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Hold the middle mouse button to rotate the view. Press C to paint select again. You can see me grabbing extra stuff. I'll just hold the middle mouse button, which allows me to deselect. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select again, just so I can manipulate the view. I'm going to press C for paint select, roll my mouse to make the paint selection smaller. Then for this extra, I'll just hold my middle mouse button and paint over that. I'm going to, see this. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn the view. I'm going to go to my mirror modifier, turn this clipping back on. Now I'm going to press the end menu and take the mean crease all the way up to 1. Then I'm going to press N. Now I'm going to come and turn our visibility back on for our subdivision surface. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to press Shift Z to take a look. And I like how that looks there. I'm going to press Shift Z to go out of rendered mode. I'm going to hold Shift and press the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back to zoom back. And we're just going to select right here. We're going to press E to extrude. Left click to lock in. Temporarily turn off our subdivision surface again. We're going to press S to scale. Left click to lock in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the sides. We can get more of a 3D look. I'm going to pull this just back some. I'm going to press, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back first. Now I'm going to press Shift Z. Yeah, okay. I'm going to press Shift Z again. And I'm just going to press C for paint select and select these edges. Hold the middle mouse button just to get rid of that edge. Right clicking, get out of the middle mouse button. Zooming in, pressing C for paint select again. Right clicking, get out of paint select. Going to press N to bring up the properties menu. Take this mean crease up to 1. I'm going to press N to take away the properties menu. I'm going to select this eye to turn our subdivision surface back on. Again, I'm going to press Shift Z and yeah, like that. I'm going to press Shift Z to come out of rendered mode. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back to the front. Zoom back. Hold Shift and the middle mouse button. I'm going to press Shift Z just to take a look. Okay, I'm going to press Shift Z to come out of rendered mode. Okay, and hopefully you could see, you could just, keep adding more and more details. I mean, that's kind of the fun thing about doing mechanical things. You can, grab this, extrude this, use your, Alt E to put, Alt E, extrude individual edges and, put all kinds of detail. However, we're supposed to be transforming this. Somebody out there is probably like, okay, get on with it. So, okay, we're about to get on with it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here to our pivot point. We're going to change it from our individual origins back to our the default pivot point of Blender, which is the medium point. We're going to click here, go into object mode. Okay, now we're going to select front view. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press Shift A, and I am going to go down to armature. I'm going to bring in a single bone armature. The reason why we can't see it is because it's inside of here. We can see it a little bit. Objects in Blender tend to come where the 3D cursor's at. So what we're going to do is select here. Looks like a little stick man kinda. And you're going to select X-ray. That'll allow us to always see the bone there. We're going to click here and then go into edit mode for the bone. Okay, I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I am going to select this bone, take it, trying to think how I I want the root bone actually to be here, so I'm going to pull this to the back. Just hold the middle mouse button to change the view, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to select the top part of the bone. I'm going to pull this all the way up. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. Pull this all the way up to here. Okay, and this bone will basically control this whole, for the most part, most of this piece right here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn towards the front. Let me push this down a little bit. Actually, I want it up here. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I'm going to take the manipulator and just push straight forward like this. Just hold the middle mouse button to take a look. Then I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I'm going to push straight down like this. And as you can imagine, this is going to control kind of our cockpit piece. I zoom in. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan, hold the middle mouse button to turn. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to select this bone. We're going to press H to temporarily hide that. We're going to select this bone, pull this back some. We're going to press S to scale. Push that down some. Back this way a little bit. We're going to select this bone. We're going to press W to bring up our specials menu. We're going to choose subdivide to divide it. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel in. I'm going to click here, push this down something like that. select here, push this forward some like that. Okay, what we're going to do now is click here, go to object mode, select this jet in the background. We're going to press H to hide that to get that out of the way. Okay, now we're going to select onto our robot mesh. We're going to go to our modifier panel. We're going to temporarily turn off the visibility for our subdivision surface so that as we work our way through making this transformation, Blender will just run smoother, with this off. Okay, we're going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. We're going to select our armature, click here, go into edit mode, and continue adding on to, more bones to this. And one thing to remember as we go through this is these bones that we're setting up are to take us through the transformation. As far as us being able to pose the robot and spread its fingers and stuff like that, grip and hold stuff, that will most likely be another tutorial. Okay, with this head of the bone selected here, what we're going to do is press E to extrude, left click to lock in, hold the middle mouse button, to turn to the side. We're going to pull out here, take this bone up here. Now the reason why I'm doing this is I can just put bones up here and set them up and then delete this, and the bones will be parent to this bone. So I'm just choosing to do, to set this shoulder type wing part this way. Okay, so we're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, take this over, up like this. Okay, now we're going to select here, we're going to press W, we're going to choose subdivide. And now we are going to select here, press W and choose subdivide. So what I'm going to do now is select here, push this out and down like here. I'm going to select this, move this like this. And the reason why we have these two bones is just so that we have more maneuverability as far as moving this around. The reason why we are only working on this side is because it's easier to just work on one side and then name the bones and then just duplicate the bones and put them to the other side and use Blender's ability to flip the names. So we're just going to work on this side, get this done, and then move it to the other side. And that's the plan anyway. Okay, we're going to select this bone. I'm going to zoom back so you can see what we're doing. I'm going to press X to delete. You can see that dotted line right there showing that this is parented to this. Okay, we're going to press Alt H to bring back our other bone. We're going to select here. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Drag this to here. Now we're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Drag this bone, position it like this. Now we're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Turn to the side, hold the middle mouse button. Typically in 3D you have to do that. I'm going to actually right click. I'm going to hold shift and select both these bones and push them forward. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to select this bone, press H to re-hide that. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Bring this straight down. And the reason why we're bringing this straight down again is because even over the hand this is our, bone set up for transforming this. When we actually rig the robot, it'll be different. And speaking of rigging the robot, as a matter of fact, just made me think. Let me click here, go to object mode, select our mesh, press Shift D, pull to the side so we know it's there. Right click to lock in. And I am going to press M. And I'm going to move it to this layer right here just so we have that ready to go when it's time to rig the other robot. So we're going to select the bones again, click here, go back in edit mode, and continue. Okay, so now we have this bone. What we're going to do is select this bone, press X, delete that bone, and we still have our it parented to the root bone, it being this. Okay, what we're going to do now is let's press A to deselect. We're going to press Alt H to bring back this bone. We're going to select right here. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, push straight out like this. Then we're going to press, let me zoom in, so we extrude it from here to here. So now we press E to extrude, left click to lock in, and just pull straight up like this. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to select here. I'm going to press W. I'm going to choose subdivide. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to hold shift and the mouse button to pan, zoom in a little bit more. Select here, push this out about like that, and I'm going to select here. Okay, now I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I'm going to drag this out here. Let me zoom back. Push this down like this. Pull that back some. I'm actually going to lift it up here. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Push down here. Then I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Push this down like this. Hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. Hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side again. Push it down a little bit more. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Push this down more. Pull back here some. Then I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, and push this straight out like this. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in. Hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. We're going to select right. Whoop, select here. It's weird how Blender sometimes does that. I'm going to select here. I'm going to press X to bring up our delete menu and delete that bone, but we can see we still have the connection there. Zooming back. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom out. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select right here. I'm going to press W to bring up our specials menu. Then I'm going to choose subdivide. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to click here just to get the manipulator out of the way. I'm going to push this down to right here. Hold the middle mouse button and look back. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. Holding shift and the middle mouse button to pan the view. I'm going to press W here and select subdivide. To zoom in, I'm going to click here just to get the manipulator moved, then click here. Okay, what we're going to do now is press the N key to bring up our properties menu. We're going to scroll down. We're going to select this bone right here. And now we're looking for where it says item so we can change the name. Change the names. So we're going to press CP for cockpit. We're going to click here. We're going to name this root. Holding shift and middle mouse button to pan. Zoom in. I'm trying to grab this small bone here. Zooming in more to just be able to grab that. So we're going to name this CP 2, just since it's connected to the cockpit. And that's basically, I'm just going for things that seem somewhat logical. CP3. So we can, go through this. Click here to get out of it. Go through this fairly quickly. going to name this, since it's near the shoulder area, I'm going to sh1 .l, and all of these bones that are on the side, you want to make sure that, .r, you want to make sure that they have a .r after them. So we're going to click here, we'll name this sh2 .r, press enter, we'll name this sh3 .r, press enter. Okay, if you have a better naming convention, feel free to name it. Just naming these pretty much what's just coming to mind. So I'm going to name this arm joint .r. I'm going to name this A for arm 1.r. Press enter to get it to lock in. Zooming back, holding shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to name this A2 for arm 2 .r. Press enter. Holding shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'll name this thigh. .r. Scroll down, hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. Name this shin .r. Foot .r, and enter to lock it in. Okay, we're gonna press and hold shift, hold the middle mouse button. We'll name this leg joint. .r. Oh, wait a second. Okay, this will name knee.r. And this is in the middle, so it doesn't need a .r, so we'll name this pelvic. And I'm gonna name this pelvic connector. Again, this is just what's coming to my mind, so as I sit here, so don't think too strongly on the names I'm using. Okay, and we have holding shift and middle mouse button to pan. We have a name for this. Just checking that the bones have names. Okay, we're going to select front. This takes us in the front orthographic. If you're not in orthographic, you can just click here. I click there, it takes me into perspective. You see it says front perspective there. I click here, it takes me into front orthographic, which is kind of like a blueprint view. Okay, what we're going to do now is hold the control button down, hold the right mouse button down, and draw a lasso select all right here. So we have all of these bones that are on this side of the body. So what we're going to do is make sure we have our 3D cursor right in the center, and it looks like it is. If it isn't, you can press Shift C, and it'll go right to the center, the 3D cursor. You want to then go to your pivot point, change the pivot point from Blender's default pivot point, which is a medium point, to the 3D cursor. And you're going to press Shift D to duplicate these side of the bones. I pull to the side just so I know that they duplicate it. I'm going to right click to get them to jump right back. Then I'm going to press S to scale on the X-axis -1. and then left click to lock in. And the reason why we made sure we had .r was so that Blender knew that these bones were on the right hand side, so we could then press W to bring up our specials menu and then choose flip names. And now these names are the same as these names, just with .l. And this is actually important, particularly later on in other rigging, because for you to do walk cycles easily and be able to flip poses, Blender needs to have a .l and a .r for that. If you're gonna have some of Blender's features like copy, reverse pose, you need to have your bone named and with a .l and .r on the end of it. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I am going to click Options and make sure I have the X-axis mirror turned on. So when I click here, I'll be able to have this bone respond like this bone. So I'm going to click here and change the pivot point from the 3D cursor back to Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point. I'm just going to pull this to the side. That to match up a little bit better with the hand there. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to select, go to the navigation tab, select front. Pull this over just slightly. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Okay, I'm going to go to options and turn off the X-axis mirror. I'm going to click here, go to object mode. I'm going to select the mesh. Now I'm going to hold shift and select one of the bones. I'm now going to press Control P. This brings up our set parent to menu, and then you want to go to where it says with empty groups and select here. And what that did was that made it so that when you select on your mesh, there's groups set up according to each of the names that we gave. They just don't have any weight painting yet. So what we're going to do is first select your bones, then select pose mode. Now you're going to select the specific bone that you want, which is this bone right here, right? I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side, then zoom in. Now we're going to select our mesh, and we're now going to press Control Tab. This brings us into weight paint mode. We're going to click here and go to edit mode. And this is the CP, which we named, because it was the cockpit bone. So what we're going to do is hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to hover here, press L, roll back, and then press L over the head as well. Okay, and with all of this mesh selected, and with the vertex group that's associated with CP, and with the weight saying 1.00, which means full weight, as in every vertex will try to move with this bone, which is what we want. Because this is a machine object that is, hard and not fleshy, we want every vertex, every face, every edge to move, totally with this bone. So we're going to select Assign. So then if we click here and go to weight paint, we can see that this is blue and this is red. What the blue means is there's no weight on any of this, and what the red means is, as far as this bone right here that you can see selected, it's totally associated with that mesh right there, which is what we want. Okay, what we're going to do now is click here, go to object mode. We're going to click on a bone. We're actually going to press A to select all of our bones. We're then going to scroll down where you see the little stick man. That's the button you want to be on. We're going to make a new bone group. So we're going to select plus here. We're going to double click here so we can name it. We're going to name this All Bones. Then we're going to select Assign. And what that did is, if I press A to deselect, now when I select, it'll select all of the bones, which is what we want there. We're now going to go to where it says Pose Library. We're going to click here. We're going to click this to make a new Pose Library. And what we want to do is select plus right here, add new, and we're going to name this Robot Mode mode 1, then enter. And now when we change this, we should be able to click right back here. We'll select this and click right here. And see it says apply specific pose library pose to the rig, and it should jump right back to robot mode. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to select just this bone right here. We're going to zoom back. And I'm actually going to press Shift H. And what that did is when you press Shift H, every bone except for the bone that you have selected disappears. It's just hidden. They're all still there though. I'm going to hold the mouse button and take a look. Okay, we're actually going to press Alt H, bring back the bones. We're going to select this bone here, hold Shift, and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press C, paint those right there. We're going to right click to get out of paint select. Now let's press Shift H again. Oops, sorry, don't press Shift H. I'm just thinking here. Okay, before we move this, actually what we want to do is select this bone here. Now, one of the reasons why we remirrored this is so when we set up this bone here, it'll set it up for the other side as well, because this mesh actually is a mirror. So we select this bone here, we click here, we then press Control, hold Control, and then press Tab. We then click here, go in edit mode, press A to deselect. If we scroll over here, we can see, shoulder 3, that bone that we named it. So then what we want to do is press L for right here, and then we're going to select, Assign. So now when we click here, I'm going to click here, go into object mode. I'm going to click here. So now that we're in pose mode, if we press G, we can see that that piece of mesh moves with that bone. So when I right click to go right back. Okay, with that done, what we want to do is select this bone here. Actually, we're going to select this bone here. We're going to press R to rotate on the X axis. You can see this is taking this all up, and that's what we want. Left click to lock in here. I'm going to hold the mouse button, turn to the side. Okay, and what we're going to do is select here, press H to temporarily hide that bone. We're then going to select this bone, press R to rotate on the X axis. Like that. I'm going to select this bone, press R to rotate on the X axis. We're going to use this button right here, which is the Auto IK button. And basically what we're using right now is called forward kinematics. So when we bend the bone, just the bone that we bend moves. IK, or inverse kinematics, allow you to grab the end of a chain and basically move the entire chain. It's kind of like FK is like moving an action figure, and IK is just very good for certain things. So we'll probably go back and forth using IK. So what we're trying to do is get this to match up with right here. So we're going to turn on Auto IK. We'll try pushing down here. This. Push this way. We'll select, and this will push down here. Zoom in here. I'm going to press R to rotate on the X axis here. Push this back this way. You're going to have to keep rotating it. Let's actually click here and temporarily turn off X-ray. Right click, wrong bone. I'm going to turn X-ray back on. Holding shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to select this bone and press H to get that out of the way. I'm going to select here and here and select H. Actually push this bone down some like this. I'm going to select here, press R to rotate on the X axis. Select this. Push that down, select here, press R to rotate on the X axis. This, select this, whoops, right click to get it to jump right back. Push straight down again. Select right here, R to rotate on the X axis. We'll push this down slightly. Just about. Let's select X-ray here to see, and that looks about right. As far as this part. Okay, so what we're going to do is press N to take away this menu. We're going to select X-ray again. We're going to select here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to press Alt H, and we're going to select here, here, whoops, here, hold shift, select here, here, and here. And now we are going to scroll down. We're going to make a new bone group. We're going to double click here. I'm going to put CP underscore jet mode. And then I'm going to select assign. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to, with those same bones selected there, we're going to click here in the pose library, select add new pose. To get a new pose, we're going to click here. We'll name it the same thing, CP underscore jet mode. CP standing for cockpit. So let's try this out just for this part right here. So we'll select all bones. We'll select here, and then we will select here, and this what looks like a magnifying glass, and we're right back into robot mode. I'm going to temporarily turn off X-ray, and then if we select here CP jet mode and press wait a second, we're going to press A to deselect. With this selected, we're going to choose select, and then select the pose CP jet mode here, and then click here, and that took us right back. So that's just what we want. So far everything seems to be going well. Okay, now we're going to zoom in here. We're going to select this bone here. I'm going to push this up. Select here, do the same thing, and push this up. Zoom back. I'm going to select here, press R to rotate on the Y axis, like that. Then I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis here. Try to push this over like this. Push this down. Just trying to move this into position. I'm going to select this side and push this up. Let me zoom back some. Select here, I'll press R to rotate on the Y-axis. Select here, hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. R to rotate on the Y-axis here. R to rotate on the Y-axis here. Almost. Or to rotate on the Y-axis here. Okay, I'm going to push X-ray here. I'm going to select this bone. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y-axis. Take it this way. Try to push down here. Then I'll do R to rotate on the Y-axis here. R to rotate on the Y-axis here. Select this, R to rotate on the Y-axis here. Okay, I'll go to the other side. I'm gonna select here, press R to rotate on the Y-axis here. Select this bone, R to rotate on the Y-axis here. I'm going to select this bone here. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y-axis like this. Then I'm going to select this bone and press R to rotate on the Y-axis like this. I'm going to try to push up just slightly. Okay, and one thing we're going to have to fix somehow. I don't know, I was looking here instead of here, and we need this distance here. So this bone is parent to this mesh right here. What we're going to try to do is go in and make this bone longer here so that we can push this down to here. And I think we'll be okay because we don't have these bones parented to anything. So we'll click here, go into edit mode. We'll select this bone right here. We'll turn on X-axis mirror. We'll push this straight down. Like that. Okay, let's click here. This is going to be interesting. Back in the pose mode. So we'll click here. We'll select here, we'll press R to rotate on the Y-axis like this. We'll select here and press R to rotate on the R to rotate on the Y-axis like this. Select here, R to rotate on the Y-axis. We'll try to push this down. Let's press R to rotate on the Y-axis like this. Press R to rotate on the Y-axis. R to rotate on the Y-axis like this. R to rotate on the Y-axis yet again. R to rotate on the X-axis. I'm going to turn off X-ray so we can see what's going on. Press R to rotate on the Y-axis here. Turn select back here. Turn X-ray back on. Press R to rotate on the Y-axis here. Turn off X-ray. We're going to press N. Select only render so we can see. Didn't work out too bad. So we're going to click X-ray and turn off only render. Okay, so what we're going to do now is select right here. We're going to press R to rotate on the Y-axis. And I'm just looking at this bone right here. That's why I took that down like that. Okay, now we're going to select this bone, drag this out to the side like this. Left click to lock in. We're going to take this bone, push this up. Press R to rotate on the Y-axis like this. Press R to rotate on the Y-axis. R to rotate on the Y-axis like this. Push this down like that. Okay, what we're going to do now is select here, push this down just slightly. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to select only render. Just to take a look, we can see this is sticking out, so we're gonna click here, hold the middle mouse button. We'll select right here, turn to the side, and we'll push this back some like that. Okay, we're gonna hold the middle mouse button, rotate the view. Just the same thing, select here, push in something like that. We'll select only render and take a look. Okay, so what we're going to do now is turn off the auto IK, select this bone, and we should be able to do some finer adjustments here. Select only render and take a look. Press R to rotate on the Y-axis. Okay, we'll uncheck only render, select here, press R to rotate on the Y-axis, and left click to lock in. Now we'll select only render again. Okay, we'll hold the middle mouse button to take a look. Okay, so we'll uncheck only render. We'll select this bone. We'll press H to temporarily hide it. We'll select this bone. Then we'll press R to rotate on the X-axis. Then left click to lock in. We'll select only render again and take a look. Okay, it looks pretty good. We're gonna uncheck only render, and what we're going to do is hold shift and select all of these bones involved here, and we're going to go to bone groups. We're going to plus. I'm going to name these shoulder wings. I'm going to press enter, then I'm going to select assign. I'm then going to put a plus here for the pose library. Select add new. So here's the pose. I'm going to double click here, and I'm going to name these shoulder wings jet M. Press enter. Okay, now what we're going to do is hold the mouse button, turn back to the front. So we're going to select all bones. Let's press Alt H to make sure all the bones are back. We'll select all bones here, select, and then we'll select robot mode and the plus button. Let's try this again. We'll press A for everything. Now we'll There we go. So it jumped right back into robot mode. When I made these all bones, I must not have had all bones. I'll just select assign again here. So now we'll select CP jet mode for the cockpit. Then that's right. And now we'll select shoulder wings. And that's right as well. Just hold the middle mouse button to take a look around. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. We're going to click here, go to edit mode. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in, hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan again. I'm going to unclick this x-axis mirror just so it doesn't cause any issues. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. Going to select. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Select right here and pull this up. To about here. I'm going to select the whole bone. I'm going to press R to rotate on the x-axis. Like this. Left click to lock in. Pull it up a little bit bigger like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is zoom back by rolling the mouse wheel. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to click here, go to object mode, select the mesh, click here, go to edit mode, zoom in, hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. Okay, I'm going to zoom in by rolling the mouse wheel, and I am going to press C for paint select. Selecting all this right here. Right click to get out of paint select. Press C again for paint select. Right click to get out of paint select. C for here. Right click to get out of paint select. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. Then I'm going to press Y to separate. Left click to lock in. Press A to deselect. I'm going to zoom back. I'm going to click here. Go to object mode. Select the bone. I'm going to click here. Go to pose mode. Then I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to select right here. I'm going to select the mesh. Press Control Tab. Then I'm going to click here to go to edit mode. Okay, and when we look here, we can see we have the correct bone. I'm going to press N to take away this properties panel. We're going to press A to select everything, and then A again to deselect so we know that nothing is selected. I'm going to hover my mouse here and press L. I'm then going to go here and select Assign with the weight settings as you see here. Okay, we're going to click here, go to object mode. We're going to select our bone right here. We're going to select the mesh now, press Control Tab, go into edit mode. We're going to press A to deselect. A to select everything, A again to make sure that absolutely nothing is selected. Then we're going to hover our mouse here. Actually, we'll hover here first. Press L, L, and L. Holding the mouse button to take a look. We'll assign our weight of 1. Now we'll click here, go back to object mode. Select our armature. Okay, we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to zoom in, hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. We're going to select this bone right here. We're going to then select the mesh, press Control Tab, then go into edit mode. When we look here, we can see we have the correct bone. We're going to press A to deselect, A to select everything again, A to deselect, just trying to make sure that absolutely nothing is selected. Now I'm going to hover here and press L, L, and L. Then I'm going to select Assign. Okay, now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to click Object, select Object Mode, select on our bone. Here, I'm then going to select our mesh. And I'm then going to press Control Tab. Then I'm going to click here, go into edit mode. I'm going to press A to select everything, A again to make sure that absolutely nothing is selected. We can look here and see it's the shin bone like we want it to be. We're going to press L and then select the sign. Okay, we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to click here, go to object mode, select our armature, select a part of the mesh, press Control Tab, click here, go to edit mode. We can see it's the correct bone here. We're going to press A to select everything, A again to make sure that absolutely nothing is selected. We're then going to hover our mouse here, press L, L. Then we're going to select a sign. Okay, if you're not sure that you have the entire mesh that you're trying to select selected, where it looks like everything is selected here, we can press H to hide this, and we can see this part right here isn't selected. So we'll hover our mouse here, press L. Okay, there we go. And then we'll just select a sign. And then we'll press Alt H to bring back the rest of this geometry, and then press A to deselect. Okay, what we're going to do now is click here, go to object mode, select our armature. I'm going to zoom back. We're going to select this bone right here. We're going to press R to rotate on the x-axis. So I left click to get out of that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to bring this down some. And I'm just trying to look at it. To get a better look, we can press the N key and then select only render. Okay, I'm going to press deselect only render now, and I'm going to press R to rotate on the x-axis a little bit more. I think I'm going to press R to rotate on the x-axis here, then select here, R to rotate on the x-axis. We'll select only render to take a look. Unselect that, R to rotate on the x-axis. Left click to lock in. Okay, I'm going to press N to take away this properties panel. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select here, hold shift, and select here. I'm then going to press R to rotate on the x-axis, like this. Left click to lock in, hold the middle mouse button to take a look. I'm going to press N to bring back the properties panel, and then select only render to take a look. Uncheck only render. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press R to rotate on the y-axis. I'm going to select here, press R to rotate on the y-axis. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. Okay, I'm going to select only render again to take a look. I'm going to check here again. I'm going to hold shift and select here. Turn to the side. I'm going to press R to rotate the x-axis, like this. Left click to lock in. I'm going to check only render. Okay. Bring this back. Then I'm going to select here. Hold shift and select here. Then I'm going to press R to rotate on the x-axis like this. And left click to lock in. Okay, now I'm going to select here. And I'm going to press R to rotate on the x-axis 90. Then left click to lock in. I'm going to select here. R to rotate on the x-axis 90. Left click to lock in. Okay, I'm going to zoom back a little. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to select here. I'm going to press R to rotate on the z-axis -90. And then left click to lock in. I'm going to select here and press R to rotate on the z-axis 90. And then left click to lock in. Okay, now I'm going to select here. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y-axis, just a little. Select here. R to rotate on the Y-axis, just a little. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little. We're going to select here. Hold Shift and select here, 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 and here. And we're going to press S to scale. Just hold the middle mouse button to take a look. Okay, we're going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. We're going to hold Shift and we're going to select here as well as here. We're now going to press this plus button. We're going to double click here. We're going to name this leg bones. We're then going to select the plus here and select add new. Then we're going to double click where it says pose and we'll name this legs underscore jet underscore M. Then I'll click here to lock it in. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect and A to select everything. We're going to select robot mode right here. Press what looks like the magnifying glass here. We're then going to select this bone right here and then select the mesh. We're then going to press Control Tab and then we're going to select or click right here and then go to edit mode. We're going to make sure I believe that's the right one. Looks like we're in the right bone. So what we're going to do now is hover our mouse here. Actually, let's press A to select everything. A again to make sure absolutely nothing is selected. And then we'll press L and then L. Zoom in. Hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Okay, then we'll select Assign. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. We're going to click here, go to object mode, click here, zoom in, select here, and what we're going to do is click here, go to edit mode. It's very important that this bone does not stay this name since I forgot it. So what we're going to do is name this elbow dot R. And if we had left this name, basically because it would have the same name as the bone on the other side, it would cause issues. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. So we're going to select here. We'll name this elbow dot L. Okay, now we're going to zoom back. We're going to click here, go to object mode. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to select the armature here. I'm going to click here, go to pose mode, zoom in, select here. I'm going to select the mesh. I'm going to press Control Tab. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to click here, go to edit mode. I'm going to press A to select everything. A again to absolutely make sure that nothing is selected. Just holding the middle mouse button to take a look. Now I'm going to press L, L, and L. I'm then going to select Assign. I'm now going to click here, go to object mode, select here, select the mesh, press Control Tab, then go to edit mode. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hover here and press L, 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 and L, and L. I'm going to press Z, go to wireframe mode, hold Control, hold the right mouse button, select right here. I'm going to press Z, go back to solid mode. and then I am going to press assign. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. We're going to click here, go to object mode, select here. Now we're in pose mode. We're going to press A to deselect there, then A to select all of the bones. We're going to scroll down. We're going to select CP jet mode, select this magnifying looking glass. Now we're going to select the shoulder, wings, jet mode, select the magnifying looking glass for there, and then legs, and then select the magnifying looking glass for there as well. Okay, now what we're going to do is select here. We're going to turn on auto IK. We're going to push in like this. We're going to select here, press R to rotate on the Y axis. Hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. We're going to select here, press R to rotate on the X axis. We're going to select only render for a second. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. We're going to select here again. Press R to rotate on the X axis. Select only render. Here again, select here. R to rotate on the X axis. Select only render. Okay. Okay, we'll unclick there. We're going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. We'll select here. Push this over like this. Select here. Press R to rotate on the Y axis. Like this. Hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. We'll select here. Press R to rotate on the X axis. This. Select only render. Okay, just hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. To look around. Okay, now we're going to deselect only render. We're going to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and select here, 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 and there. I'm rolling the mouse wheel to zoom back. Okay, now I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to select this plus. I'm going to select group. I'm going to name this arms underscore bones. Press enter. Then select assign. Okay, what I'm going to do now is press S to scale. Then left click to lock in. I'm going to uncheck auto IK. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to put a check in only render to take a look. I'm going to uncheck only render. Then I'm going to pull this in some like that. I know it's hard to see. I'm going to select only render. I'm going to uncheck only render. I'm going to zoom in, select this bone right here and pull out a little. Same thing here. I select only render. I'm going to uncheck only render. Okay, what I'm going to do now is, since we have arm underscore bones selected in our bone groups, we're going to choose select. We're then going to go to the plus here, select add new, go to pose, double click where it says pose. I'm going to name this arms underscore jet underscore M, and then just left click to lock in here. Okay, and with that done, we have everything set up for a basic transformation. There's still things that need to be added to this to make this more usable, like a master mover bone. But for now, we can go through our transformations. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan down. I am going to click here to go to the animation workspace. Okay, now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to zoom back. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. We're going to click here and we're going to select location, rotation, scale. And what this does is this just allows us so that every time we press the I key, we'll well, Blender will put in a location rotation scale keyframe for us. Okay, I'm going to press the N key to bring up our properties panel. I'm going to select display. I'm going to take away the grid floor. Then I'm going to press the N key again. We're then going to go to our stickman-like figure. We're going to scroll down to the pose library. We're going to press A to select all of our bones. We're going to make sure we're on frame 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to select robot mode. Then we're going to select what looks like the magnifying glass. So I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press I to put keyframes in for that. I'm then going to press the right arrow on our keyboard to move over one frame. I'm going to go to CP jet mode, select here. I'm going to select the what looks like the eye or magnifying glass again. I'm going to hover my mouse over the 3D viewport and press I here. I'm going to press the right arrow to move over one one frame. I'm then going to select shoulders, wings, jet M. I'm going to select the magnifying glass here, hover my mouse over the 3D viewport, and then select I to put in keyframes there. I'm going to press right on the right arrow key to move over one frame. I'm going to go to legs jet M. I'm going to select what looks like the magnifying glass. I'm going to hover my mouse over the 3D viewport. I'm going to select I. I'm going to press the right arrow again. I'm going to select arms, jet M, and then I'm going to select what looks like the magnifying glass. And then I'm going to hover my mouse over the 3D viewport and press I to insert keyframes for this particular pose. Okay, I'm going to press and hold shift and hold the middle mouse button to pan down some. I'm then going to hover my mouse over here. I'm going to press the home key just so we can see our keyframes here. I'm then going to press the T key, and Blender's default keyframe interpolation is a Bezier. We want to change this to linear, so we're just going to select linear here. And what we're going to do now is click right here to go back to frame 1. Okay, what we're going to do now is press and hold shift, hold the middle mouse button to pan up. We're going to move our mouse and hover it over right here over our dope sheet. We're then going to press S to scale, and then 1, 0, and then left click to lock in. And then I'm going to right click right here for frame 40. Let me click back to frame 40 there. Oh, I guess it's frame 41. And then I'm going to press E while hovering my mouse over the timeline here. Okay, let me zoom back just a little, and now we can press play to see our animation. And there you can see the animation right there. Pretty cool. So I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and just rotate the view. So you can just, see it on multiple angles as it goes around. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the N key, and then I'm going to select only render. I'm going to press N to take away the properties panel. So now you can see again, there's the animation. Pretty cool. Okay guys, that's it for the tutorial. For those of you out there who like the videos on this channel and reshare them, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Also, let me know if you are interested in me doing more tutorials with this. I had mentioned before about doing the rigging tutorial showing how to have this robot jumping around and doing different actions. Let me know if you're interested in that. And I have a support button on my homepage. If you're interested in supporting this channel, a donation of any amount would be greatly appreciated. Also, to those of you who have donated already, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who are new to this channel, if you like the videos on this channel and you would like to see more, please subscribe, and thanks for viewing.